Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. This is Samar from the Naqabi Diaries, and I'm reading this book, The Ideal Muslimah. Today's section is entitled, She Avoids Mixing Freely with Men. So, subhanAllah, we know that part of the hijab is, lowering our gaze, and obviously as well, sitting alone with men, avoiding that, and also avoiding mixing freely with them. What is mixing freely with men? Mixing with men unnecessarily. Yes, sometimes as a Muslimah, you will have to talk to men for certain needs, different men who are not your mahram. This is going to go unavoidable, especially if you live in a Western country. And often as well, we see that the divorce rate is very high, even among the Muslim community now. So many sisters are single. There are many sisters as well who are, for example, reverts, and they don't have any Muslim mahrams, or they may not have any mahrams at all. So we see that, talking to men and asking things from men, and having communication with men is definitely going to be unavoidable. So subhanAllah, even some revert sisters can get taken advantage of because they don't understand this is a principle, that it even applies to Muslim men as well as non-Muslims. Spending time alone with non-mahram men and free mixing with them is not acceptable under any circumstances. So we need to really take care to make sure that we don't fall into this, subhanAllah, because as women, we naturally, we're not robots. We have personalities, okay, and even if you are fully covered as well, okay, this still applies. So we shouldn't think that being fully covered, even with niqab, that it's okay to have this kind of very flexible and overly friendly relationship with men, okay, whether they're Muslim or not. So we need to take note and be careful of that, inshallah. And another couple of things that I wanted to mention that had come to my mind from reading this section is the mixing freely between the sexes is not something which is only detrimental to women. It's detrimental to males as well, subhanAllah. So many young boys in school are suffering with their education. They're not doing it as well, and partly because this education system is geared towards educating females, which is obviously a good thing to educate females, but because the sexes have been mixed now, if you have a boy who's very hyperactive and he doesn't like sitting down for long periods of time, the education system is not geared towards him. As well, in the West, we have an issue where there's, subhanAllah, most of the teachers are female. From primary level all the way up to secondary level, the majority of teachers are female. That is a profession which is, it's overrun with women. It's only maybe when you get to the university level that you might have more of a balance between male and female lecturers, subhanAllah. And I don't know the statistics, so don't quote me on that, but this is my experience growing up. I knew countless female teachers, but I can count on one hand how many male teachers there have been. So when you're in a mixed school and you're being taught just solely by women are different from men, okay? And men know how to deal with boys, and boys need to have a male figure to look up to as well, and to know how to behave as men. But because they don't have that in schools, and subhanAllah, a lot of boys are being brought up in single parent homes now, so if they're only being raised majority of the time with their mother, they may not have much male influences around them. So this is really having a big effect on our youth, our young males especially, subhanAllah. They're not doing as well when it comes to education. A lot of young boys are being diagnosed with things like ADHD, subhanAllah, just because they're hyperactive, or so-called hyperactive, but the reality is people don't want to deal with them. If they was in an environment where it was only boys, things would be a lot different, subhanAllah. So there's an imbalance when we have the free mixing. Even at the young ages, we see this. And subhanAllah, these are things that are affecting the Western societies in a big way, and even the Muslim societies as well. We can't forget about those. But I just mentioned this point because I want sisters to realize that when the scholars mention about free mixing, I know they often refer to it just from the detriment of the woman a lot of the time, and preserving her modesty and these kind of things, but it also affects the men in a negative light too. And I think that as Muslims, we need to pay more attention to this and actually try to bring some solutions, Islamic solutions, to these problems. having separate classes between the genders, male and female, at all levels, so that everybody can get the best out of their education, inshallah ta'ala. Alhamdulillah for everything. Anything that I've said that is correct is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and anything that I've said which is incorrect is from myself, and Allah knows best. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.